We are truffle farming today. It's time to put these resource hogs to work. We're also going to create a couple of new saplings, and I'm going to show you some handy charms to speed up the basics in Minecraft. This ahead and more on SkyFactory 4. Hey everyone, my name is Luke and welcome back to the dawn of another day on our channel endgame Minecraft SkyFactory 4 world. So today, let's have a look. We are going to continue working on our bonsai farm, get a couple of new saplings going in there. I've just noticed a second ago that our hunger bars depleted a little bit though, so I'm going to address that now. Now, this is a good opportunity to show something which I've been meaning to take a look at. Now, I could just munch a couple of rashers of bacon and that's, you know, pretty straightforward. But there's a couple of really cool ways to enhance the way you do some of your basic stuff in SkyFactory 4. Just improves the speed a little bit, a couple of tweaks here and there. And to show you how that works, I just want to go into my my general sort of inventory menu. Now you'll see up in the top right hand corner here, there's actually a little icon for baubles. So in SkyFactory 4, you can actually, instead of just the basic sort of armor slots with your head, your chest, your pants, and your shoes, you've also got a little interactive baubles menu. And in here, you can put a whole bunch of additional little bits and pieces that are provided by various different mods in SkyFactory 4. Now, we've got empty slots in all of those at the moment, and we don't currently have any of the items you can put in there, but I'm going to show you how to craft a couple. So let's go into our standard crafting menu via our storage remote now, because we've got all of our inventory stuff linked up. And I'm going to do a search down the bottom for bauble, and we'll see what we come up with. So, baubles. Now, we've got a few up here. Now, the couple that I'm going to start with, I think we're going to have a look at, a lot of these are part of the Dark Utilities mod. So you can also search for Dark Utilities and that'll show you a bunch of the different things. The Gluttony Charm. Now, the Gluttony Charm is a really cool one. So if we have the Gluttony Charm on, basically anytime we go to eat something, the eating animation, which is normally, you know, munch, done, actually speeds up. So it pretty much will consume whatever food we want to eat instantaneously, and just, it's a much simpler, quicker, easier way to eat. So for the Gluttony Charm, what do we need? We need some string, we need a golden apple, and we need some wheat. Now we should have pretty much all of that except for the golden apple, which we'll have to make ourselves. So let's make a golden apple. I'm sure we've got apple and gold ingots, so let's grab that. Yep, there we go. Chuck the golden apple back into our inventory, and there we go. We should have the Gluttony Charm. Fantastic. So we'll make a Gluttony Charm, and then we'll get out of that menu and back into our own menu. And in the bauble section, we chuck the Gluttony Charm on. Now, when we go to eat our bacon, you'll see instead of the... I'll just show you the difference actually. So if we take that bauble off, we do our standard eating bacon animation, which takes a few seconds, okay? But if we have the Gluttony Charm on, go back into the baubles menu. Whoop, I'll try to drop it. Baubles menu, Gluttony Charm on. Then all of a sudden, eating bacon is... Well, there we go. No, we're full now. Okay, we're going to have to wait. There we go. No! Okay, I ate too much bacon. We're going to have to demonstrate that in just a minute when we're a little bit hungrier again. Okay, so in the meantime, let's make another charm. So we do have also the sleeping charm. So let's go and search for charm this time. Charm. Okay, so one of the other charms we've got is the sleep charm. Now, similar sort of thing in concept. When you sleep in a bed, obviously the animation to sort of go down to sleep and tick the world over to day again takes a few seconds. It's not too long, but if we use the sleep charm, it actually speeds up that entire process to be instantaneous again. So for the sleep charm, what we need is a few bits of leather, some sticks, and a bed. So I think once again, we've got just about all of that except for the bed. So we can make a bed pretty straightforward. I'm pretty sure we've got all that. No, we need some wool. Okay, so for the wool, we're going to have to grab ourselves some string. I'm sure we've got enough string to make 3 bits of wool. So 1, 2, 3, chuck that back into our inventory, make the bed. There we go. And now we can make the sleep charm. Easy peasy. So that's our sleep charm. Now, it's not nighttime at the moment, so I won't be able to demonstrate it, but when it is, we can run back here and sleep on the bed pretty much instantaneously. So go to balls, Again, Sleep Charm, chuck that into one of the slots, and we have a Gluttony Charm and a Sleep Charm, which is just a quality of life improvement thing. It's just going to speed things up slightly when we go to eat or sleep or something like that. So, yeah, easy. All right. So, back onto the saplings. Now, we've got all of our inventory and storage and everything linked up now, which is great. And we're continually sort of generating a bunch of resources down here. But we've got a lot of bonsai pots that are still empty. So, we've got a lot of different saplings that we've not created yet, which we need to fill this area with. And in fact, if we go to our advancements menu, we can actually see what we're missing. So onto the age of farming, you'll see if you look under the sapling section for all the trees, we're still missing, we've got, what is it, 6, 7, 8 different saplings here, as well as some of the basic ones that we haven't planted yet. So the basic vanilla Minecraft ones. So looking at this, we might want to do quartz actually. So obtaining quartz will help quite a bit because last time we had to get quartz when we were using it. We actually went and got it from the netherrack sapling. So quartz will be good, and we can finish off our gold, silver, diamond sort of section by getting the emerald saplings as well. And I think we might actually need the emerald to do one of the other ones later. So, all right, well, let's work on that. That seems like a cool thing to start on. So, all right, so to do a emerald sapling, which is probably a good place to start, let's do a little hunt for that. So we've got saplings and emerald saplings. So to make an emerald sapling, we need a diamond sapling, which we've got. We need tin resin, which we've got. We need nickel resin, which we've got. And we need a thing called a green slime crystal. Okay, so that's an interesting one. Now, fortunately, green slime crystals are not too tough to make. So we need to get a block of green slimy mud and put that in the furnace. And in order to make green slimy mud, we just need sand and slime balls and a bit of dirt. So we should have all of that actually. So slime balls, dirt, sand. I think we've got, all right, so we just need to grab some slime balls. Slime balls I don't think are going to be a problem because we should have a bunch of that from our slime. So yeah, congealed green slime block. We've got a few of those. So let's just make some slime balls and just chuck them back into our inventory. That's going to come in handy later. So then we have our green slimy mud. So we should be able to make that pretty easily now. There we go. And we're going to just go and chuck that in the furnace. And that will make that green slime crystal for us. Pretty easy. So chuck that in there. Okay. Now while that's cooking up, let's have a look at one of the other ones. So let's have a look at the quartz sapling. So to make a quartz sapling, we need nether quartz, which we've got a little bit of. We need an emerald sapling. There we go. So we actually need to make this emerald sapling first. We need netherrack, which we've got, and we need a magma slime crystal. So another slime crystal. Okay. So to make a magma slime crystal, we in fact need slimy magma mud. So slight variant on the one we were just looking at. Slimy magma mud requires slime balls. Now this is a particular type of slime ball. This is the magma slime ball, I believe. So we need soul sand, netherrack, magma slime ball, and magma cream. So now magma slime ball, a little trickier. We actually need to get that from a congealed magma slime block. Interesting. All right, so we might actually have to build the magma slime sapling first before we can do the quartz one. Let's have a look at that. So how do we do a magma slime sapling? We need a blue slime sapling and we need blazing pyrotheum. All right, this is where things get interesting. So we put some blazing pyrotheum in a cauldron and then we can turn one of our existing blue slime saplings into a magma one. So now to get blazing pyrotheum, we need pyrotheum dust and we can chuck that in the melter, which we have available. But to get pyrotheum dust, we actually need to make that using redstone, sulfur, and blaze powder. Now sulfur is the missing part, so how do we get our sulfur? Sulfur, we got a couple things. Grindstone's an option here, so let's have a look at the grindstone. Now we can turn, looks like red nether brick into sulfur. Interesting. Interesting. Red nether brick. How do we get red nether brick? We need nether wart and nether brick. So nether brick is not too much of a problem. Nether wart might be tricky though. I think we're going to have to go to the nether to get that. Yep, looks like we may have to. All right, well, we might put that one on hold temporarily then. What other options do we have? What other ones do we have that we haven't done? Glowstone saplings. That requires quartz resin, so we might have to wait for that one. What else have we got? Let's have a look at that list again. So, if we go back to the all the trees. We've got emerald saplings. We've got cookie saplings. We could probably do a cooking sapling. Yeah, let's have a look at a cookie sapling. Cookie saplings. So saplings again. Let's have a look. We've got donut. We've got cookie. All right, cookie sapling. We've got jungle sapling, sugar, and cookies. I'm pretty sure we can make cookies because we just need cocoa and flour. Well, hang on. There was an even easier way to do it there. We can just go cocoa beans and wheat. We totally have that. Yep. All right, let's make some cookies. And then let's grab some sugar. Sure, we can make a little bit of sugar there. And then I think that's it. We've got jungle saplings, I'm sure. So there we go, cookie sapling. Fantastic. We've got some cookies left over. All right. So I'll just go and plant this cookie sapling. Now, I actually left a spot for this next to the bacon, donut, and apple saplings. So cookie saplings, it probably makes sense for us to plug it in right there. And that will grow and make some additional saplings in just a moment. We can chuck one in the second bonsai pot there. All right, now our green slime crystal should be done now. There we go, green slime crystal, and we can use that to make our emerald saplings. So, looking back at the emerald sapling, we have diamond sapling, tin resin, nickel resin, and green slime crystals. So, let's use our storage remote, which gives us access to all of our crafting materials, put the crystal in the mix there, and let's grab our emerald sapling recipe, and we have all the parts for that, and we can make ourselves our emerald sapling. Fantastic. So, we can get that one planted before we continue with the next bit. So, I think I had a spot here. We've got diamonds, we've got nothing there, we've got gold, and we've got silver. So, I think that's the spot that I left for it. So, emerald sapling, chuck that in there. It'll start growing. Again, we can double that up in a minute when a few of those saplings have grown and popped in there. And then, yeah, good times. All right, cool. So a couple new saplings going. That's not a bad little start. Now, the whole purpose of the episode today, though, is I want to look at some alternative means of grabbing resources. So the saplings are great, and they do give us access to a whole bunch of different things, but we can increase our resource production and give us some additional options by looking into something that we explored just very slightly early on, which is the resource hogs. So the resource hogs, as I redesigned the base and sort of set up all the new platforms, I actually did set up an area for all of this, which we're now going to start to build out a bit. So I've bred up a few pigs. We've got a bunch of the different pigs here in these two little pig pens, and I've actually been growing a bunch of additional ones. So generated a whole heap of pig seeds, and you can see some of those have just started to sort of bear fruit, I guess. Yeah, so we've got a few pigs in various different stages of growth here, and keeping in mind that we can actually just sort of use the shift right click to pick them up and move them around as well. So now the idea is that in order to create resource hogs, you need pigs, and you give them a different bucket of mud that gives them a resource sort of attribute. So again, if we look into our crafting menu and do a bit of a search, so we've got so search for mud, and we've got all these different mud buckets. So we've got prismarine mud, we've got steel mud, we've got aquamarine, we've got soul sand, cobalt. You can make a whole bunch of different resource hogs. And there's in fact more varieties of resource hog than there are of saplings. And there's a few resources you can get this way that you can't get using saplings. What happens is that the pig turns into the resource hog of the varying different type once you give it the appropriate mud bucket. And then once they are a resource hog, if you put a solid block of the required resource underneath them that they're basically sitting on and sort of digging around in, then once in a while they actually create a truffle of that resource type, and you can combine those truffles to actually make that different resource. So if I was to, for instance, do a search for truffle, you can see these are all the different truffle types. We've got lapis, we've got dirt, we've got magnesium, silver, iron, redstone, emerald, lead, bronze, ardite, sapphire, a whole bunch of different ones. And hovering over one and hitting, hovering over one, I should say, and hitting the U button. No, that didn't work. All right, we can have a look at how to create some of those different resources anyway. So say, for example, we want to make steel. Now, I know that there's a steel truffle. So if we have a look at blocks of steel, I think it is, or maybe it's steel ingots. Might be steel ingots. So yeah, here we are. So one of the resource recipes for making a steel ingot is actually for steel truffles. So once we get a steel pig going, a steel resource hog, then we can start to make steel ingots without having to rely on needing a sapling for that particular resource type, which I don't think there is for steel. So yeah, that just gives us another way to get all the stuff that we need. So in order to do this, what I want to do also, rather than just creating resource hogs and having them here and having to run around and manually grab the truffles, which is going to be, time intensive. It's the same problem we had before with the saplings. We had to actually go down to the saplings and open up the chest every so often, grab all the stuff out. I don't want to do that. We've got our inventory system and our wireless automation going. So I actually want to set up the same sort of automation here in our truffle farm. So as we create each one of these resource hogs, and it's going to take us a while to get all of them, to complete the full set. I think there's about 46 or something, the number of pens that I've set up. We actually want to have all those truffles as they're being created, taken off the ground and fed into the system so they appear in our inventory. Now, the truffles themselves, when the pigs dig them up, are actually block entities. So they sit on top of the grass blocks. So in order to have those sucked up, we actually need to break those blocks first. And fortunately, there is a block we can build, a machine we can build, which is a block breaker. And putting that block breaker next to the block that the truffle is going to appear on will break the truffle, and then we can suck it up using a hopper, or in this case, because we're going to put it above, it's going to be one of those new uppers. The upper will suck up the truffle and deposit it into a chest, and then we can have that chest feeding down a line into a wireless item sort of node and have that transfer into our inventory system, just like we've done with the saplings. So now the basic design for this, I'm gonna just make one of them over here, I think. So yeah, this will do. Actually, no, let's actually do the math and work out which order these are gonna go in. So, all right, so I'm gonna do a search again for our mud buckets. So if I search for mud now, the first one we've got is basic mud bucket, which doesn't actually create a resource hog. So, and then we've got prismarine. So prismarine's the first one, steel's the next one, aquamarine, soul sand. Let's pick one that's going to be easy. So how many have we got along here? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 along here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Glowstone. We could possibly do glowstone, or clay's the next one. Let's do clay. Clay's probably going to be a nice easy one to start with. So to create a clay mud bucket, that's pretty straightforward. We just need a block of clay, we need a bucket of water, and we need a block of dirt. Okay, so I think we've got a bit of that. And we'll put the clay one here. So if we go 8, and then this is effectively number 9, we're going to put the clay block there. So let's just get that piggy out of the way. So I'm just going to actually grow him up to get him out of the way. And then we can, where are we? Let's just pick him up and move him out of the way for now. There you go, piggy. Okay, so we actually want to have clay block there. Actually, once we just finish off with our pigs, just get that one out of the way. It's good when we actually get more than one out of a set of seeds, so just doing more seeds. All right, there we go. So we're gonna want to put a clay block there. So I'm sure we've got tons of clay blocks in our inventory, so let's just do a quick search for that. We're gonna need 2 of them, so we're gonna need to chuck one in the hole, and we're going to need to actually use one to create the mud bucket as well. So there's clay, and let's create the mud bucket for clay. So clay mud bucket. All right, there we go. So we're just missing the bucket of water. Now I think we might be able to use the diamond bucket for this recipe and actually get it back afterwards, because it holds a lot more than just that one portion of water, that 1 millibucket of water. So we can just test that theory out by running over and filling it up. And actually, while we're here, let's just chuck some more lava in these. Need to fill up. Okay, so the mud bucket. Where are we? Bucket of mud, clay. Use the controller, of course. And where are we? Mud bucket, clay. Yep, we've got it now. So we can we put that in there? We can. All right, fantastic. And we actually do get the bucket back as a result. That's cool. All right. So with a bucket of mud, of the clay variety, actually we're going to want a few of those because we're going to want to create, I'm going to go 4 hogs per pen spot because we can actually stack them up, which is something you normally couldn't do in vanilla Minecraft. One of the mods, I believe, allows you to stack animals a bit more effectively and they can all occupy the same space. And having 4 stacked animals on the same spot are just going to increase the chances of, or the speed of which the truffles are going to get created, so we can actually have the resources going a bit quicker than they otherwise would. So we want to create 4 of those mud buckets as a result. So again, let's use our remote and go the mud bucket. So chuck our bucket of water down there and we'll get 1, 2, 3, 4 buckets of mud. Okay, fantastic. So can we stack those? No, we can't. Okay, so we're going to have to do this slightly slower way. Run over and we'll grab some piggies and we'll turn them into clay resource hogs. So there's 1, there is 2, there is 3, and there is lucky number 4. Okay, and we've got our clay resource hogs. We're also going to want to make some of those block breakers. So let's just do a search for that. So if we do a quick hunt for breaker, and we have a few different options here, but the one we're going to use is actually from the cyclic mod, which is the block miner here. So we click on block miner, you can see it actually consists of a dispenser, some bone, a iron pickaxe, and we've got some moss stone, which we can create using cobblestone and vines as well. So let's have a look. What have we got from that recipe so far? Nothing. Okay, so let's make a dispenser first. That should be pretty straightforward. What are we missing in the middle there? We need a bow. We can make a bow. We've got a bow, surely. In fact, we're going to need a bunch of these, so I'll just create a heap and we'll feed them back into our inventory. Yep, there we go. And then what else do we need? We need to make that into a dispenser. So let's create some dispensers. We will need a bunch of those later. And then we need some iron pickaxes. So let's create a bunch of those. And feed those back into the storage system. And then let's create ourselves some regular bones. We actually have enough bone amber, bone truffles. Can we create bones out of... I think we're going to have to use bone amber, actually. We can craft bones out of bone amber. That should be pretty straightforward. So bone amber we should be able to make a stack of. So yep, there we go. If we chuck bone amber in there and just get bones out of it, we can put those back into the storage system. So easy peasy. Those can go back in. And what else are we missing? We've got our mossy stone. Okay, so we can definitely make a bunch of mossy stone. So let's make a heap of that. And we should have everything we need for our block miner now. So, yep, there we go. Let's create a stack of block miners. There we go. And that's probably, let's go with 9 for now. That's probably enough to start with. Okay, so these block miners, we're going to stick right in front of where the hogs are going to be operating. So, is that the right way? No, we want it facing the other way, I think. Yeah, we need the hole at the front. So I think I need to be standing in the pen to actually get this sitting in the right spot. So there we go. And once the pigs create the truffles, that is going to feed into the block miner, and it's going... no, it's not going to feed into the block miner. It's just going to break the truffle, and the truffle will sit there. So we actually need an upper to suck it up, and we need to stick a chest on top of the block miner. So let's grab ourselves some chests, which I know I've got some extras of, and we'll put that on there. And then we want an upper next to that as well. So let's do a hunt for some droppers or uppers. So can't remember if I made extra or not. No, sorry, not a dropper. We want a hopper, not a dropper. We've got a couple of hoppers. Let's grab those. And we can, of course, turn those into uppers just by putting them in the crafting grid. And then we want to stick that onto the chest there so that it's sucking up the truffles that are dropped by the hogs. But let's put the hogs in there first. We need a little bit of room to put the hogs in. So let's go and grab those clay resource hogs that we had a second ago. And we can just carry them over to that new area and pop them straight in. And if we do it against that chest... Well, no, that didn't quite work. They should all stack together quite effectively, I believe. Yeah, there we go. So if we just put them up against that, don't bother trying to click on the ground, because once you've got a couple of resource hogs in there, it's going to be very hard to find a spot of ground to actually click on. But if you click on the side of the chest, there we go, they should drop in quite easily. So let's grab those and chuck them in there. Rinsing and repeating for all of the different resources we're going to need is going to take a while. So I might just demonstrate a couple of these, and then off camera, I'll put a whole bunch of the extras together. So there we go. There's our clay resource hogs. We've got 4 of them on that spot. Now they should actually start digging up truffles almost immediately, but they're not going to go anywhere, even though the block miner will be breaking them. They're just going to be sitting there and not going anywhere until we put the upper onto this chest. So there we go. And with the upper there, that'll suck up any truffles that are broken by the block miner and deposit them in the chest. And let's see if that's actually started working yet. No, it might take a few moments for them to create some truffles. And it only works if you've got the appropriate type of resource block sitting underneath them. So they actually need to be able to dig up truffles. There we go. We've got a clay truffle. It's just been created and sucked up in there. It's been broken by the block miner, and it's been sucked up by the upper and put in the chest. There we go. And there's a second one. So that's working pretty well. That's working exactly as intended. So let's have a look at the other mud buckets that we can create. So I'm curious to see how many of these we can actually do. So actually, you know what we're missing? We probably want to put a sign on each of these. I mean, it's not too hard visibly to sort of see what we're looking at, but I mean, why don't we just make this a whole lot easier for ourselves? So we're going to call this one clay, and then we'll label them as we go. So let's have a look at what other mud buckets we've got. So what came after clay? We had iron bars. Oh, the actual iron bars, as in the jail cell style ones. That's cool. Yeah, I guess we can make one of those. That sounds kind of useful. Let's make one of those. So, where is my bucket of water? I had a whole thing of water. So, I should probably just keep that in my inventory. It's going to come in handy. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's create some iron bars resource hogs. In fact, I'll just grab these pigs here. It's going to be easier to grab a few that are on this side instead of having to go and move them all over again. And one more. There we go. Okay. Now, I don't think you can turn the... Oh, actually, do the resource hogs automatically... The pigs automatically turn into resource hogs when you give them the mud bucket, I think. That'll turn into an adult. I think. Yeah, it does. Okay, so it turns into an adult resource hog. Oh, man, the iron bar one looks awesome. How cool is that design? I'm a big fan of that. Okay. So let's grab the other one as well. Come on, piggy. There we go. All right. And your friend. And we had one more as well. Where's he going? Well, we've got a few that are growing up and just walking around the place. So there we go. Hey, there you go. There you go, Mr. Iron Bar Piggy. Now we're just going to have to move you out of the way for a second, buddy. All right. And oh, that's a good point. Iron bars. What do we need to put in that block space? Is it just iron bars? Do we actually just put a thing of iron bars there? That's a really weird one. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Sure, let's give it a go. It's not your traditional block, but I guess it could work. So, iron bars. Make one of those. We make 16 of them, I guess. So, yeah, sure. Let's give it a go. It's not what I anticipated working, but I guess makes sense. Yeah, they can just stand on top of that. Why not? Okay, yeah, I guess that's probably it. So, again, we'll put down our block breaker. And we just need to chuck our resource hogs in there. I'll put the chest down first just so they can't escape, as that would make things a little bit annoying. And then we'll just grab the other ones that we created. So where are we? Our iron bar resource hog. Let's grab that and chuck you in there. And another one there. Grab him, chuck you in there. And we had one more. Where's he gone? Where's he gone? Where's the iron bar hog? It's not, they don't walk off the edges, surely. Even resource hogs aren't that stupid. Ah, here we go. He's crept up the back. All right. Kind of feels weird to put an iron bar resource hog in prison. It's weird. All right, so there we go. We've got 4 of them there. They should be creating truffles already, if I was correct about the iron bars being the thing that needs to go under them. And if we put the upper down, then that should start sucking up any truffles that they create, if I've gotten that right. So, and we'll just chuck a sign on while we're waiting. So, iron bars. There we go, iron bars. And that is our second resource hog done, provided that the iron bars are actually what they need. Or maybe it's a block of iron. I should probably check that, actually. Iron bar truffles. I'm just going to very, very quickly research that, because if I'm wrong, that's going to be really annoying. I'm going to have to pull them all out of there and change the truffles. So, where are we? Clay, iron bars. Iron bars matter none. No. Alright. Is there a book for hogs? No, there's not. So, iron bars, use on a pig. Lithium, nope. Platinum, nope. Iron bars, there we go. It doesn't actually say. Doesn't actually say. Well, we're just going to have to assume that's correct. It makes sense that they would be on iron bar blocks. I'll do a bit of research, come back, and we'll check for sure. Hey, birdie. How you doing? All right. Anyway, so it took some doing, but we got there. So I've now got the block miners next to all of the different pig pens, and I've labeled them all accordingly. There are a bunch of them. So now, as it turns out, I got the base block for the truffle digging on the iron bars wrong. It's actually stone. So I did a little bit of research, and it turns out there's a sort of fairly small set of blocks that you need to put at the bottom of all of the pig pens for the resource hogs to dig the truffles up. And it's not always totally intuitive as to the resource type connected to the block that you're actually putting underneath. So generally speaking, it's either going to be sand, soul sand, dirt, stone, clay. In some cases, end stone is the block that you need. There is one for seared bricks. You actually need dried bricks underneath. But you tend to find that some of them are really, really obvious. Like obviously under dirt, you would put a dirt block. Under cobblestone, it's not as obvious though. You actually put a dirt block for truffle pigs to dig up cobblestone truffles. So it's not a cobblestone block at all. So anyway, just have a look around and experiment with a bunch of those. I've tended to find that a lot of the metals, like iron bars being a good example, the block that you need for the resource hogs to dig on is actually stone. But as far as all the others go, you might need to do a little bit of research and look them up. I'll actually link a document in the description to this video, so you can refer to that. But yeah, just experiment amongst those block types if you can't work it out. Now, I have created a few of the different resource hogs. We've got now we've got the clay ones going. We've got the iron bar ones going, and plenty of iron bar truffles coming through now. I've got the cobblestone ones going, so that was a nice easy one again. And I've got the lapis ones going. That wasn't too tough, as it turns out. Now, a lot of the metallic mud buckets that you need, though, some of the resources that you actually need to create those mud buckets, let's look at gold. Gold's a good example. You don't actually need the base metal. You need a pulverized or a dust version of that metal. So next episode, we'll have a look at how to actually get that, because it's going to require the construction of some additional machinery. Yeah, otherwise, we're well on the road to creating our truffle resource farm. And that's going to take a little bit longer to complete. Some of the extra resources we need for that we don't have immediately yet, but we'll get to that in the very, very near future. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's it for this episode. It's just started raining, so it's probably a good time to end. My name's Luke. This has been SkyFactory 4. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check in again for the next episode, and you'll find that going up real soon, especially if you hit the bell and turn on notifications. So make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out all of our content at channelendgame.com. But we'll be back soon with another episode. Until then, enjoy your Minecraft, and we'll see you then.